Hey guys, it's Jason. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a video tonight because the main question that I get asked by people is if I have any tips about getting through early opioid withdrawal. I was addicted, for those of you who don't know, I was addicted to prescription painkillers for 13 years, and I now have 5 months of sobriety. An early withdrawal is hellish. It just is. Symptoms are very similar to a flu. I have notes here because so much of the information that I'm going to give you came from my subscribers, all of whom helped me through the very dark moments of early opiate withdrawal. Symptoms, like I said, are similar to a flu, and part of those symptoms include things like fever, and when you have those cold chills and hot flashes and the sweating, NSAIDs, things like ibuprofen and acetaminophen can be beneficial at, not just for the muscle aches and pains that we endure in early opiate withdrawal, but it also helps regulate your internal body temperature and bring your body temperature down. So wearing loose, comfortable clothing was paramount for me. Layering, like a t-shirt and then like a robe over it, because your body temperature tends to fluctuate from hot to cold and hot to cold really, really quickly. So, and wearing things like that are absorbent, like cotton and stuff, was beneficial. Using like cloth-covered ice packs also, and like taking washcloths and dipping them in ice water, wringing them out and using it, helped me regulate my body temperature as well. And holding an ice cube on your wrist for like 10 seconds and then 10 seconds on the other wrist and alternate it a couple times can bring down your internal temperature. So those types of things can help. Shaking is very common when you're coming off from opiates. When we take opiates, it relaxes our muscles and our limbs, and then when we're coming off of them, it's kind of like the opposite. We get shaky, muscles hurt, they ache. St. Johnswort can help with the shaking. It can also help alleviate some of the stomach upset, but there's a lot of interactions with other medications when taking St. Johnswort that you have to kind of be careful of. I know that they can interfere with like blood thinners and birth control pills and antidepressants, obviously, and some other medications, so you want to use caution there. And probably always talk to your doctor. When detoxing, avoid caffeine. Now, this isn't something I hear like a lot of other people say. I just found it extremely beneficial for me. Like, while in early withdrawal, I experienced so much sweating and so much shakiness, and internally I was so on edge. And caffeine normally didn't have that strong of an effect on me, but in detox, yeah, the effect was strong. So I would say avoid caffeine at all costs, because it just worsens the symptoms in early withdrawal. And try to eat well. I know some of these things sound like very basic and almost kind of maybe cliche or something, but so much of our drug use is about instant gratification and that instant reward. And when it comes to trying to ease withdrawal symptoms, we can't expect that instant gratification. We have to take whatever reprieve we can get in whatever form we can get it in. So we have to try to be patient, be more patient with the process, because if there was a magic wand or something, or some sort of pill that somebody could take that would just eradicate the withdrawal symptoms, we'd have a lot more clean people. But it's a tough process. So, but trying to eat well, like for me, fresh salmon, broccoli, kale, brown rice, lots and lots of fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. These foods were very beneficial for me. Getting outside in nature also, like getting some sun, just being able to take a walk, even though it's kind of difficult for me because of my agoraphobia. It really does help. And even though you don't feel like walking, it's still beneficial. Now, cravings. When withdrawing, you're going to experience cravings. It's just one of those things you get to look forward to. After you've detoxed, then you're going to be dealing more with mental obsessions. But cravings are when your body and your mind are missing the drug and crying out for the drug in any way they can and trying to convince you in every way they can that you need this drug to survive. So these cravings are bodily in nature, not just mental. But some methods that were suggested to me from other subscribers. One thing I wanted to mention that was suggested from another subscriber of mine, Shane J., who has a channel here on YouTube, a really good recovery channel, so you should check him out. I'll try to remember to link him. Eating a raw, like sliced, peeled potato before bed helps with the restless legs. And when he told me this, I was kind of like, huh? But I did it, and I swear to God it worked. Like, it was amazing. So, and I looked into it, and it had to do with, like, really high levels of potassium. But it was a great tip, and I'm very grateful that he gave it to me. But, when it comes to cravings, a lot of it is I have to edit this part. But when it comes to cravings, a lot of it, is just this kind of your body and brain trying to convince you. So some methods suggested to me. So some methods suggested to me to get past these cravings, ones that helped me. One was to make a list of all the reasons why I was choosing to get sober, and then I would revisit that list when I had these cravings. Another was recognizing negative thought patterns, which is really important because, especially in like early recovery, with our brain chemistry being so out of whack, it's easy to have negative and pessimistic thinking and thought patterns. Thoughts like, I'll never make it through this, or I knew I wasn't going to last. I knew I couldn't do this. Things like that. Uh, when you can recognize these negative thoughts ahead of time, it's easier to kind of edit in a more positive spin on them. Like, acknowledging, that's just me being negative. I knew this was going to be tough, but I'm tough as well. Just trying to stay on top of the negative thoughts can be really, really beneficial. Distraction techniques are key. Like, legit. They're key. They're so vital in so many ways, because half of early withdrawal is a mental battle. And then after the hell of early withdrawal starts to lessen some in terms of physical symptoms, intensity of physical symptoms, the mental battle takes the forefront, and it takes a lot of mental fortitude. At least for me and a lot of others that I've known, that's you've got to be ready for that mental battle. And distraction techniques are just, they're going to become your friend. Taking a brief walk, listening to music, reading some short stories, or binge watching something you enjoy, calling someone who understands what you're going through. Things like these are all good distraction techniques, or were for me. And recovery experts and therapists agree that doing something distracting, even for as little as 5 to 10 minutes, is often long enough for cravings to pass. So that's a good thing to remember. Because in early recovery, it's minute to minute until you can start making it hour by hour. And eventually, you're taking it one day at a time, staying sober just for today, one day at a time. You build up to these things. And it's also, an important way of living in the moment, because we can't change the past. We can't sit stressing over everything we could or should have done differently. And I would say, especially in early recovery, the future can look pretty bleak, and it's easy to feel hopeless to a lot with so much uncertainty looming. So remembering to stay present is important. And being selfish in early recovery is important. You've got to put yourself first to get well, so that you can eventually be there for other people. And I mean, if you think about it this way, chances are, in the years that you were doing drugs, hi Luna, chances are in the years that you were doing drugs, you were incredibly selfish. So if you have to be selfish to get better, look at it that way. Because I know, for me, the first time I tried to get clean, and relapsed, and I'm talking about since I've documented everything, because I had tried to get clean several times in the past. But the first time that I tried to get clean on my channel and relapsed at day 7, a lot of it had to do with the fact that I wasn't being selfish enough. And I know that sounds silly, but I wasn't listening to what I needed. I was still trying to people please, and it kind of ended up being, at my own detriment. So it's important in early recovery to be a bit selfish. So, all right, and lastly, sleep. That thing that in recovery becomes that ever elusive thing that you end up missing, like some long lost love. It's sleeping is so crucial to healing. And it sucks that it's so hard to get good sleep when you're withdrawing. So the things that I would suggest are to keep a schedule, trying to go to sleep, or at least lay in bed at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every morning. It's going to help regulate your body's internal clock and get it to start working again. Make sure your room is nice and dark and cool, like 60 to 67 degrees. You can use a fan, a white noise machine, try ASMR, noise canceling headphones, anything to try and calm you and create a calm ambiance. A comfy bedtime routine is a good thing. Stop looking at your phone or computer an hour before you go to sleep. Taking a hot bath, drinking some warm decaffeinated tea or milk, reading a book for a little while, taking a couple melatonin. These are all things that can help relax us, and we can form these things into a routine. So yeah, that's pretty much what helped me the most during very early recovery. So hopefully something that I've said tonight can be beneficial to you. And for more information and for treatment referrals, you can always call the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services hotline, and that number is 1-800-662-HELP. 1-800-662-4357. Yeah, 4357. I'll try to link some more numbers in the description of my videos so that you guys have some more resources. But yeah, just remember, take it one day at a time, and we're stronger than we realize. So I'm here to support you guys in any way that I can. Don't be afraid to reach out, and remember that when we're in early recovery, gathering support is really important. That support is going to be your lifeline. So thank all of you for being mine. Thank you all for continuing to follow my journey and continuing to believe in me and continuing to show me kindness and encouragement and share your advice and spread the love. Until next time, take care, guys.